This week's Who Would Win of the Week is Yukon Cornelius from the Rudolph Rankin and Bass special versus the plastic Santa Claus from the Santa Claus 2.
Plastic Tim Allen Santa.
Plastic Tim Allen Santa. Physically, I think this would be a great matchup.
This is a battle for the ages.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Yukon Cornelius, like, he is a man's man.
Yeah.
He's got honor. He's a proud man.
Yeah.
But he plays by a set of rules, I think.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not to an extent, because I feel like those gold people,
Gold people.
That's what he was. He was he
was a prospector.
Yeah, prospector.
The greatest prospector of the
Prospectors
North.
are sus, though, sometimes.
True, but typically
they
when
get a
we
bad
think,
name.
Yes, they get a bad name. Typically when we think prospector, we think, California gold rush.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of backstabbing that time. However, Yukon Cornelius is up in
The North Pole.
in the North Pole on his lonesome, just doing the work, man.
Just hacking away
just
at
hacking
ice.
away, yes.
So
I think you're absolutely right that
whereas
he's a man of honor.
Plastic Tim Allen lives by no rules.
Yeah.
Well,
He's a maniac.
he sets rules, but he lives by his own rules. He has no code.
He does have he has rules and a code, but it's not an honorable one,
no.
which is an interesting
It's
paradox.
actually I feel like most of the things that he makes it a point to do are bad things.
Yes. But he is sticking to them very strictly.
But that's how he was programmed. So can we fault him for it?
Wow. I did not think
ELE.
I did not think AI was going to come into this conversation. But of course it has to.
How could you not think
I don't
that?
know. It just did not even cross my mind.
But I mean, we'll leave that out of it.
We will leave the
moral
inquiries of man out of this one.
Yeah. I was trying to help you.
Did I tell you about Bumbles?
No.
Bumbles bounce. So Yukon Cornelius.
I can't believe that just happened.
Stop kicking me, man.
You're a fucking dumbass. I don't know if people are going to understand that.
Yeah, they are. They remember the specials.
I remember that.
Whew. That's it for me. Physically, I think this is a cool matchup. I think, the plastic Tim Allen is, he really does not do his own dirty work.
No.
And his whole plan is just to run away, basically, in the movie.
He's sneaky a fraud.
Oh, yeah.
He does have an unfair advantage because he is not human. So he, you see that in the snowball fight at the end.
Yeah.
Where once he realizes he's pinned down, he does get involved, and he is definitely superhuman in a sense.
Yeah.
Although he is fighting mostly children.
Well, they're elves.
Yeah, small people. Well, not even. No, they're mostly children in that movie though. The elves are mostly kids.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, if we want to talk about the actors.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So you're saying that in that. So here's a question: in that version of a Santa Claus, you're saying that elves never get older?
Well, they don't.
Then how did the head elf get so?
Listen, dude, I don't know, but
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Not Shia LaBeouf, but
Bernard.
Shia LaBeouf.
Wow, that's
Off-brand
I can
Shia
see it.
LaBeouf.
Off-brand
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf. Yeah.
Poor man Shia.
He did look like
a
him
poor
at
man's
that time.
LaBeouf.
Poor man's LaBeouf. The poor man's LaBeouf. He played the poor man's LaBeouf. And he was immediately shot in the street.
Do you think they were they tried to get Shia LaBeouf for that movie and they couldn't afford him, so they got that kid
I think
instead?
that rolls above Shia. Especially that. I mean,
His
that
name's
first movie.
Shia.
Yeah, Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf is his name.
Shia LaBeouf.
No, there's an A. Shia LaBeouf.
That's
from Transformers.
yeah, Shia LaBeouf.
Shia.
That's the first I'm hearing of this.
But you are right about Tim Allen Santa in that him being plastic is really to his benefit. I don't think he can feel pain. And he's got...
No, he does get tortured at the end. That's how he gets, like, tied up.
Yeah, he gets tied up, but it doesn't seem to hurt him. Like, he's saying, like, oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
But he doesn't seem to be in any physical pain, even when they shrink him.
He's squirming. He doesn't like where he is, but
yeah,
that's probably because he's afraid of being shrunken.
He doesn't want to be... Jesus.
He doesn't want to lose
He doesn't want to be captured,
Mm-hmm.
obviously.
Well, he doesn't want to become not living.
All of it, yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be...
I don't think Yukon Cornelius feels pain.
Oh, you're right. But it's different. Yukon does feel pain, obviously. He is but a man. But he doesn't let that bother him in the slightest.
How literal are we getting into it here? Because okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. I'll stop myself.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah. How do you think... But flip side of it, do you think that... And this might, again, be a dumb question, but you're the guy to ask. Do you think that they just made Tim Allen wear like shiny makeup and play the robot himself?
Yes, they did.
They did a pretty good job at making him look like a robot. His hair looks very robot
That
hair.
is a phenomenal job by the costuming department and makeup. Absolutely. That's true.
That's the number one thing about him that you're like, that's a toy, not a human, is the hair.
Mm-hmm. You're right about that.
He's got action figure hair.
Yeah, it's excellent.
But large.
It's best
human-sized action figure hair.
Yeah, that's the big shout out to that movie for that particular reason.
All right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
I think that Plastic Tim Allen will not ever admit that he's wrong, and even though he will run away from a battle to try and win the war, whereas Yukon never leaves anything on the table.
So I'm gonna take this deeper than it was originally meant to be. I'm gonna pose you with a question. There's two phrases here, and I'm gonna say them both. First phrase: cheaters never win, winners never cheat. Second phrase: if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Two phrases.
Mm-hmm.
Both apply.
Absolutely. I would say that's true. I would also say, however, that both, at least to me, imply Yukon's success. Because although, what was the second one? If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Yeah.
Although that may be true in some cases, even if you're cheating against Yukon, his honor would stop him from cheating, and I think his never giving up and doing the right thing attitude would dispel any kind of cheating.
But I think Yukon Cornelius walks into this scenario, and when the fight's about to start, he takes off his belt, right? He puts down his gun and his axe.
Yeah.
And he rolls up his sleeves and he throws them up. And I think Plastic Santa Claus walks up to him well now, before we have to get in the fight, stab in the side. That's how the fight starts.
That's true. And Plastic Tim Allen is very charismatic still.
Yes.
And Yukon seems to be the kind of guy that loves a charismatic person. He loves a good time.
But I also think he can see through people.
Yeah.
I think he's a good judge of character.
I think you're right. The evidence for that being the Bumble at the end of the movie, Yukon sees that he is reformed, that this abominable snowman now wants to help people. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a great guy, Yukon.
Yeah, I like Yukon Cornelius, and this is an internal conflict for me, this fight, because part of me really believes that not only is Yukon Cornelius such like probably like a great physical match for this fight, but also, a good person and understands,
Yeah.
has good morals and stuff like that, which can help people in situations like this. But sometimes you face somebody who's so the opposite as far as the morals part of it and the way that their brain works, that you can't even foresee the things that they're going to do because you couldn't possibly fathom somebody doing those things in that situation because you are who you are. On the flip side of that, he's probably seen some shit. He's probably been in a lot of dangerous situations, so he probably has learned to always expect the unexpected. If that's the case, if he has a knack for always expecting the unexpected, then he wins this fight, no doubt. If he has, almost moral blinders on because he sees the world the way that he does and he can't possibly comprehend how people could be so anti-good, we'll say, for a lack of a better term, then he's going to be screwed because Plastic Tim Allen is not at all coming into this fight thinking that he's going to follow the rules or be respectful or whatever. He's clawing, scratching, poking, biting, fish hooking, whatever he can do.
Yeah.
And that, if Yukon, there's a chance that Yukon doesn't see that necessarily coming or doesn't know how to fight dirty like that, right?
Right.
Yukon's not going to necessarily have to flip the switch and do it back, but he's got to be prepared to be able to stop it.
Yeah.
If he's not prepared for that, he's going to find himself between a rock and a hard place real quick. I'm not counting him out. I'm just saying there's a lot of things you got to think about here.
And I think the moral blinders scenario that you mentioned might be pretty accurate because he also, in Cornelius, when he goes against the Bumble at the end of Rudolph and pushes him into that cliff, he's not really thinking about that. He's just like, let me at him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he feels that that's the right thing to do. He wants to finish the job. Plastic Santa being plastic, Yukon could take a beating very well, but I don't think he could, with his fists, do as much damage to Plastic Tim Allen as Plastic Tim Allen could do just swinging those plastic arms at Yukon. And Yukon would get up every single time until he didn't. And if Plastic Santa just starts, flapping his Ken arms at him like that,
okay,
I think he might.
But if it
destroy
how about this?
him.
If Yukon can turn this into like a wrestling match of sorts, Plastic Santa's probably pretty screwed because of his lack of flexibility in certain parts of his body.
Right.
So if I'm Yukon, now that I think about this, but again, and I don't know if this is Yukon style. That's the thing is I don't know if Yukon style is to pick on somebody's weakest points. Right.
I mean.
In this situation,
sure.
It very well may be.
Yeah, I think
if
in
he
this
knows
situation
this is more of a life or death. And
regardless.
another thing is if he knows how bad of a guy Plastic Tim Allen is, then I think, and then Yukon goes for the knees.
It's hard to beat a toy. Even in Cornelius's own world, those misfit toys, they go through a lot, and they're in perfectly good condition. It's tough to beat a toy.
It's hard to beat a team 3 times. It's tough to beat a toy. All right, vote.
I want to believe in Yukon so bad.
All right, how about we both say it on 3
think he would
so
give
that
it his all.
we don't sway each other's opinion. Ready?
Okay, I'm closing my eyes. 1, 2, 3. Santa. I think he'd win. I think our boy Yukon would go down Death of Superman style.
Yeah, he'd go down swinging.
He would be.
Da, 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 da. He'd walk 500 miles and then 500 more just to be the man.
He would go out like a hero. He would go out. Yukon would go out like a hero.
Yeah.
but he'd go out. If it was like, everybody get out of here, everybody would be gone and safe, but Yukon would not make it out. If this plastic Tim Allen is just wailing on him.
So he'd be more like Superman's dad.
I guess so. But in like the Death of Superman comic book against Doomsday, that's what I'm referencing.
Superman's dad dies in the tornado because he goes back for the dog.
Oh, that's dumb. I hated that part of that movie.
It happened.
And I also feel like that's kind of different.
No, he went back for the dog.
Yeah, he went back for the dog. That's not like, everybody get out of here.
Well, everybody else was under the overpass.
It's a little different.
And the dog was fine.
If you were Superman, I know that his whole life. Lock that in. Vote on Instagram.
Wait, no, I'm not done with this. I didn't vote.
Oh, sorry.
Really? You just sent it to Instagram and didn't even let me vote?
I'm ready for you to vote now.
I think you're right.
That's brutal.
I don't I actually really strongly dislike that plastic Tim Allen Santa Claus. I like the movie, but I don't like that character. He is not a good guy, and I wish Yukon Cornelius would come in and kick his ass, but it'd be a tough fight. So I'm going to take that too. Clean sweep for plastic Tim Allen Santa. From the Santa Claus 2, vote out on Instagram on Friday, Christmas Eve, right?
Mm-hmm.
Christmas Eve on Friday.